some of our new pricing and features. So specifically, how we track anonymous visitors inside of Salesforce, how we record what someone does before they become a contact or a lead inside of your Salesforce instance. They may go around your website. So we're going to look at what that functionality looks like, and then also review some of the pricing changes around that new feature. And so what I'm going to do is just start by reminding everybody that we do have a pricing page. We often get this question, especially from consultants and our partners, of, oh, how much is it for this or that? Remember, we do have pricing right online. You can go to predictiveresponse.com, click on pricing, and then find a plan that's right for you. I recommend just going into the professional. That's what most of our clients use, and start from there. One thing to keep in mind as well, for those of you who have clients who are looking at a per contact price, not just emails per month, but want to know, what about if it were contacts per month? You can take any of these values here, this cost, and multiply it by 2.5. So if somebody says, oh, I have 10,000 contacts per month, then you could go ahead and enter 10,000 times 2.5. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that we do offer that now. It's contact based. So if I took 10,000, multiplied it by 2.5, that'll then give me 25,000 emails per month, is the same cost as 10,000 contacts per month. So again, you can use 2.5 as that number, and then that'll give you your price. If you're working with a nonprofit, you can come down like that. And so one thing you'll notice as well is at this point in our pricing, we've also taken what used to be our professional plan and new clients who would want that functionality, which included our campaign flow, campaign management automation. That's now part of our standard. And so we moved everything from professional into standard, and made professional cost a little bit more. Standard also costs a little bit more, but you get a lot more features now. We've also noticed that not that many clients were coming in wanting just plain email. They do want marketing automation, and so we're just including that now as part of our standard package. But today what we're going to look at are anonymous visitors. So what is that? And again, you can come to the pricing page to learn more about it. But anonymous visitors allows us to track pre-engagement. So when someone comes to your website, there is a cookie, and we can start seeing that somebody, we don't really know who yet, but somebody is clicking around your website. And if they then submit a form, or you get their email address and you send an email to them, we can then begin to track who they are and their engagements at that level. So once we know who they are, those previous, what had been anonymous visits, become something that you can actually track and report on. So what that looks like, here you can see, here's a contact. This person's name is Yogi Berra. They have engagement activities. So this is our standard engagement activities. This object is now going to be updated, or in our next release, it will be updated with anonymous information as well. So while we can start tracking it before they identify themselves, once we know who they are, we can then bring in those engagement activities. And here you can see this says anonymous visitor or anonymous visit. We can then identify which web pages did they visit before they became someone that you knew. So that way you can begin to understand which are the most popular web pages that precede someone becoming a Salesforce lead or an actual contact. And so that can help your marketing department and your sales department figure out what's the most successful web page that we could drive someone to that then tends to lead them to identify themselves a little bit more, so you can begin your higher level engagements. And so then you can see that this person identifies themselves, and then the rest of their engagement activities are being done as known. And the type of information that we gather is, hold on, I clicked the wrong thing. So the engagement activity itself now records the fact that it's an anonymous visit. We get the time on page. We can identify what type of OS and browser they're on. And you can, again, see which web page they're looking at. And so the idea, again, is where they came from. So we also can get the referring information. So when someone comes in from a specific URL, we can track, assuming that we are allowed to track where they're coming from. We can see that. And then we also record where did someone come from during that anonymous visit. And then all of that rolls up to their contact level engagement activities. So that is what we call anonymous visitor tracking. And then during our next session, we're going to go over visitor conversion. We do have now a WordPress plugin that we work with that we'll cover during our next meeting, where you can help convert people during their session with some pop-ups and slide-ins that can then turn this anonymous visitor information more quickly into engagement activities that are connected to someone and you know who they are. So that is the anonymous visitor tracking, as well as a little bit of the new pricing that we have related to that increased functionality. It's now part of our professional edition. And again, you can enter emails per month and multiply that by 2.5. So again, if you had 10,000 contacts that you're going to email per month, you can just put in 25,000 as the number of emails, and then we can calculate that as your per contact cost. Are there any questions at this